Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're doing very well. I want to address something to have you consider using caution with things that you might be exploring. Okay? Let's dive into this. Now, for a lot of us, depending on our culture, where we were brought up, our family's background, we may have been indoctrinated into a religion, or we may have adopted a religion of our own, or some kind of practice of our own in our adult life that, for whatever reason, the religion that was put upon us by our family did not appeal to us for many reasons, probably because of the doctrines and all of the dogma that went with it, and chose to kind of like go our own way and find something that better suited us. And in some cases, that may be New Age, spirituality, mysticism, magical arts, and that sort of thing, or going the ascension path, and all of those kind of practices, but also Eastern religions or Western religions, depending, like I said, geographically, depending where you are and depending on what you may have gravitated to, because all of these things have these hooks in them that make them very desirable. Even indigenous practices, particularly indigenous practices as well. It's not any kind of prejudice against them. I'm just going to dive into these topics for you, okay? So these things, and here in the West, particularly in the United States, there is this amalgamation of people taking all kinds of bits and pieces of different religious and spiritual practices and turning them into something completely different. How do I know all of this stuff? I was very deeply drawn to this stuff. I was very in it. And I got deeper and deeper and in it just before finding source truth information, okay? So I just want to give you guys word of caution. As somebody who was like obsessed with getting tarot readings and obsessed with manifesting, the law of attraction, like that whole, listening to different teachers, different people that are very popular, that have propagated a lot of information on YouTube and in seminars. I used to go to like certain publishing house seminars to see people speak a lot of these New Age kind of things, but New Age kind of self-help, like Hay House kind of stuff, like really there. And also I am somebody who was attuned for Reiki, for energy healing, different things like that. So, I was well into crystals for a long time, and crystals in themselves are not a detrimental thing, nor do they carry entity attachments, but they do have etheric connections to them based on whoever handled them and based on where they came from, how they were mined, all those kind of things, so if there are unethical practices in the mining of these minerals and gems and crystals, then, that's going to play a factor into that. So you want to make sure that if crystals are your thing, crystals very much are my thing. They are gorgeous. I love them. I see them and I just swoon. Every time I see a newer crystal that I've never seen before, I go gaga for it. I love crystals. So this is something that I personally sell, and that's not the reason why I'm even making this video. But that's the only thing from my old self that I have kept in my life. All right? So crystals themselves Go and watch her videos talking about how you can program crystals, how crystals can be beneficial to you, how they kind of, they have their own frequency, their own vibration, and go from there with it. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to put that to a side, okay? I was obsessed with tarot readings. I was obsessed with trying to open my chakras. But as you should know by now, chakras do not exist. That chakra system has been completely removed by the winner of the game way back when she actually won the game. So since November 11th, 2016, the chakra systems have been removed from all source players. Okay, there's no chakra systems. Yet you'll see people every day talking about how the root chakra is blocked and you need to release this and you need to align your... It's all BS. It's all BS. It does not apply to you, the source player, anymore. Okay? And when it did, it was because you may have been working with those chakras and working on them to activate them in your body, and then that energy was being harvested off of you, okay? Nevertheless, those don't exist. Those also are, that whole idea comes from Eastern religions. That whole Eastern religion kind of, it has to do with yoga, Kundalini yoga, those kind of things. Kundalini, we've also been warned against that. You don't want to go for the Kundalini route. Again, in the past, long before I found the source truth information, that was something like I was going down that path, and I was also getting much deeper into other things. All right. This is why, I don't want people who are practicing these things actively on my channel, because as long as you do that, you're never going to get the source truth that you really need to hear, and you're also never going to raise your frequency. It'll never happen as long as you have that stuff in your life, because they all come with religious entity attachments, okay? Shamanism, all of these different forms of shamanism. Shaman is a Siberian medicine man, and that term has been put on all different types of indigenous medicine people. And I mean, if you really even explore that topic, they talk about working with the spirit world. And then there's a whole other bunch of people who practice they're getting into those spiritual, working with spirit kind of religions and practices where they are taking the spirit into them. They are allowing the spirit to mount them. I'm not trying to badmouth anybody. I'm just telling you, every single one of these things involves entities. It involves entities being consented to attach to your physical body in the first physical matrix, not in this dream illusion matrix, in your actual physical body that is connected to this dream illusion. They are able to draw blood from you as long as you continue to consent for it. Now, there's many ways that we consent without us actually knowing we're giving the implied consent. But when you're doing this, you know what you're doing. You know that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. And if you're if you're thinking that you are going, trust me, I've thought about offering readings to people. I mean, I used to do it. There's a website where you can do it. There's many websites that you can do it. And I used to do it. And I wasn't super prolific in it, but I was doing it for a bit because, again, that was something I was very interested in. I won't even touch it now. I will not touch those things. I was deep into practices that where I was trying to manifest a lot of things in my life. I was trying to manifest money. I was trying to manifest love. I was doing a lot of manipulative, very morally questionable things that I justified, that I did not see myself as questionable behavior. I was deluding myself, okay? Trying to put spells on people to manipulate them into being attached. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you're down in that frequency, you will easily be influenced to make these kind of choices and decisions. And that's not where you want to be as an empowered source player, because being there, you are not an empowered source player. You're not. I had a lot of paraphernalia in my house. There was candle burning. There was a lot of stuff going on, and that wasn't giving me my desired results. And I was going deeper and deeper into other practices. I was looking for the higher magic, the ceremonial magic. I was getting into magic, like deep, deep stuff where it shouldn't have been. I was looking for like the Kabbalah, things like that, Kabbalah and all of those kinds of systems. That's the wrong path. The secret societies, the mystery schools, while they probably, there is some useful, that's all entity attachment, consent in there. Those rituals, those ceremonies are actually invoking those entities into your surroundings. Okay? You're by invoking rituals and speaking them and performing a ritual in your space or whatever like that, you are consenting to them taking over your space. Okay? And all of that stuff gave me very problematic, very troubling experiences in my life. They were not good experiences. And I experienced things such as homelessness for a brief period of time. I went through a very rough patch before moving into this apartment. And then when I moved into this apartment, getting evicted, I blamed my brother who I had moved into to live with. But the reality was, don't get me wrong. I've mentioned my soulless brother in another video. Don't get me wrong. There was things that he was doing because he's a soulless one. So that's what he's programmed to do. But at the end of the day, I was not putting two and two together of my own actions, which was bringing all of these dark entities to me. And there are certain religions, I'm just going to go by my own religion that I had been brought up in, that I never really practiced and never really had a care for. But later on in life, I started to bring it back in because I was doing other things. I'm just going to speak on Catholicism, but all of them have like a main, like trivium, a triad of the main Godhead, and then a whole pantheon of gods, whether it's Norse, Greek, Roman, or modern, like Christianity or what have you. Like I said, I've studied Kabbalah. I've studied a lot of different things, and all of these, there's certain religions, certain Eastern religions that have entire pantheon of gods for different things. For money, for abundance. You listen. You need to give that all up, because that is telling the matrix, that is telling the universe, whatever you want to call the matrix, that is telling it that you don't trust yourself, you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in the power that you have, because you haven't gotten there yet. And I can understand that, because For a long time in my own game, there were things that I did not want to let go of. I'm not talking about those things because let me tell you, the first indication that all of that stuff actually did bring attachments, it went out the door. I removed all of it. I used to carry sigils around with me to attract money. I used to have sigils in my house. I had all of this stuff. You need to let it go. As you've been instructed in a previous video, not of my own, of quartz crystals, you have to let go of everything you think you know. Everything that you have learned before, you have to let go. Anything that tells you there's like 24 seconds or 17 seconds to create a thought or whatever. No, there's a 5-second rule. A 5-second rule before it'll manifest and either create. I'm not saying it'll manifest immediately, but you have 5 seconds to correct your thought and get rid of it. Otherwise, you're going to create whatever it was in your life down the road. It's going to come, okay? Depending on how powerful that thought was and your emotion behind it is how powerful that's going to be in when it comes in your experience. Okay? It's not going to click right away. As you remove more and more things. Listen, if you want to make money, online or at home in a less traditional way, I would look up doing maybe UGC content creation or affiliate marketing or learning to start up a Shopify store or print on demand or many things that you can do. There are websites where you can do testing. You can test out websites or apps that the developers want tested, and you get paid $10 per test for 10-15 minutes of just talking through your microphone. There's all kinds of ways. You have to start opening your perception to what's out there. It is possible to bring in extra money. You could also start arbitrage, online arbitrage. You can start selling stuff for profit. Okay, you can go to garage sales, tag sales, yard sales, whatever you call them, depending on where you're from, boot sales, wherever you're from. People are always looking to sell stuff. You can look on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. You can look up on any other social media app that is very popular in your country to see what people are selling or giving away for free and figure out how can you flip it. There are tons of people on YouTube showing you how you can flip furniture. You can get furniture free on the side of the road, clean it, flip it, paint it, flip it, and sell it for profit. And big profit. Okay? Where there's a will, where there's a way. I understand there is a comfort zone. I was very attracted to that whole new age kind of witchy, kind of magic, mystical thing. I really was. And all I wanted to do was to open my my sixth senses and my intuition and develop it and be able to, have clairaudience, clairsentience, and clairvoyance. That's all I wanted. You don't need it. You don't need to astral project. You shouldn't be doing that because that just takes your energy away. Astral plane is the same as like the dream plane. It's all the astral plane, and look, I'm going to be honest with you that I still have not been able to fully get my avatar to stop dreaming. I have dreams sometimes, for whatever reason. Either my subconscious mind is making me pay for something or whatever the case may be, but you don't want to be dealing with astral projection, any of that stuff. I can't even tell you how many rabbit holes I went down on YouTube. So just be judicious, okay? Use precaution, Use your intuition, use good judgment. If you're getting an inkling, if you're getting a nudge that's like, maybe I shouldn't do it, that is your answer. That is your answer. That is your source self telling you you don't want to do this. Okay, so please, please, please just take this little piece of sage advice from your big sister, okay, and just drop those practices and those belief systems. Let them go. Let them go, because you don't need them. You don't need them. Work on the hypnosis videos if you haven't gone through all of them. Work on mastering your silence. Work on finding hypnosis videos so that you can reprogram. I use Hypnotic World, but I pay for the membership, but I do not use those scripts verbatim. I will take a script, I'll read it, I'll pick out the pieces that I like, and then I will go there and I will add my own sentences and my own words. I'm just putting it out there that you can do the same thing for yourself, but there are also free hypnosis scripts that are out there. There's people have blogs and etc. like that. That's where you really want to focus, okay? You can look at the hypnosis the practice of doing hypnosis and reprogramming your subconscious mind as like that scene in the Matrix where like Trinity needs to learn how to operate a motorcycle or operate a helicopter, and Tank downloads that stuff into her brain and all of a sudden she knows it. And just like when Neo was learning Kung Fu and then him and Morpheus go into the dojo and spar. That's how you have to look at hypnosis. That is pretty cool, if you ask me. Okay, it does happen. You can pluck things out with hypnosis, and you can put things in. I only recommend that you write your own script based off of using an outline. If it helps, use those scripts as an outline to write your own. Make sure you take out anything that is a negative word like not and no, because those don't get registered by your subconscious. You want to make sure everything is positive and beneficial. And you don't really want to get into using hypnosis audios that are on YouTube without checking with your source self, having listened to it in a awake state to determine if it's beneficial for you. Okay? So that's it. I really want you all to be safe in your choices, and not inadvertently shoot yourself in the foot. Okay? Put those practices, let them go. Let them go. They don't benefit you. Okay? They're fun. And the idea of being gifted, having a gift, but like this is a gift that's been bestowed upon you upon a higher being? No, because there's nothing higher than you except for source that is outside of the Matrix. That's it. You are it. Okay? You're just a fractalized piece of all that is great in this existence. So you don't need a practice to make you feel gifted and special. You are special because of who you are. And I'm going to leave you with that. Until my next video, be well.